Hey guys, back again with another video, and I decided to get a new sketchbook. I kind of wanted to make one with you guys, and I wanted to do something a little different. I thought that with this sketchbook I would, mostly just draw within it, but I was watching a lot of videos and I was noticing that there are other people that end up putting other pages from their books or pages inside their sketchbook, and they put like stickers and different items like receipts and just tickets or things that they went to. And I thought that was a really cool idea, and I thought, you know what, even if I end up sticking more pages inside this one as well, like I did for my first sketchbook, I think that'll be okay. So now I'm just like kind of opening up the sketchbook and feeling it up a little bit. It seems pretty okay. I got it on Amazon. I wanted to decorate the cover, and I saw some people were using some stickers, so I wanted to use some of my stickers that I made, as well as this blot that I found. I didn't even know I had so many of these stickers. This is a patch, but there's like so many cool ones, like cat girl sticker, of course. This little rabbit, I'm gonna use this one. So I decided to use the rabbit sticker and some of these Pusheen stickers. I ended up putting more later, which you won't see, but if I do another video I'll show you what it looks like. Again, I ended up adding like more of the smaller stickers, but I was just mostly trying to figure out placement. Not really sure where I was going with it. I didn't really have a plan. Same thing for like the inside of the sketchbook. You'll see as it goes on. I kind of just decided to do some OC characters. Oh, this is this has to go on there because it's an astronaut cat. For those that don't know, my streams on Twitch, I have a little astronaut cat logo. So yeah, that one is definitely gonna go on there. So now I'm just figuring out placement, trying to figure out what stickers I want to put. Like I was so indecisive, but I knew I wanted to keep this little rabbit sticker, and at one point I was just like, maybe I'll just put this sticker, only this one, but I ended up putting a bunch more. It's the first time I'm doing this. Usually my other sketchbooks are just the basic cover of or there's nothing on top, because it has just multimedia on it, and there was nothing. I never really designed this cover of my sketchbook before, so I was really excited. And I had to put some cheese because that's so cheesy. I don't know. Some of the food ones had some really funny little like little sayings, and I ended up putting one in a melon as well later on. And yeah, just designing and figuring out was the whole process. And in general, I was just really nervous to make the sketchbook and to make this video. Just because it's something that I've never done before, and I've been coming to the realization that I'm not the best at art. And it's not dissing myself, it's just I've done mostly digital art, and looking at a lot of like other people's sketchbook, they have these beautiful layouts, and I don't know if they plan it beforehand, but I was getting really intimidated and getting sketchbook anxiety because I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I was talking to a friend, and they're like, just either like plan it out or just go with it like water, and just do whatever comes to your mind. And I think that was kind of like the best advice, because I would get to the page or get to just any page, not just the sketchbook, but being worried about what I'm gonna do. And for the longest time, I never had this before. I would normally just draw my characters and my OC characters, and that would be it. I'd call it a day and have fun just drawing them. So it's kind of a process for me to get back and find ways to have fun again, instead of just focusing on, okay, I need to draw something super amazing so that people will like it, or people will be like, wow, that's really cool, So I, at the end of the day, I wanted to stick with my OC characters, and they ended up being like, it's funny because I never really, these characters are like super old, or like date back from like maybe 2009, and they still kind of stuck with me to all this time. At some point I might decide to make new characters, and it was weird, but I had because I had so much anxiety, I felt like I couldn't even draw my own OC characters anymore, so I needed to kind of get back in to see what they looked like and who they were again. So on the cover, on the page, I'm drawing one of them. I'm drawing Vincent, and I just decided to sketch him in sketch him in pencil, of course, and then later I ended up coloring him in watercolor, which watercolor is not my strongest point. I'm already setting myself up for disaster at this point, because watercolor wasn't the strongest point of mine, and I'm watching videos telling me, use something that you're comfortable with, draw something that that you like, and so I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. And then watercolor, I mess up quite a bit with the watercolor throughout this experience, but at the end of the day, it's okay. I dealt with it, and if at the end of the day I can always cover those drawings up, so it's not too bad. That's the whole thing too, because like when you get into a new sketchbook, you think, oh, it's brand new. It's like, that's not that I paid a lot for it either. It's just oh, I don't want to ruin the sketchbook, which is stupid, because the point of a sketchbook is to draw in it and, have fun with it and put whatever you want, right? But yeah, that was my whole spiel of like, oh no, I'm gonna ruin the sketchbook, and then I'm gonna have to get another one or something like that. Like, it just putting myself in this hole of like, oh no, I can't do this, but at the end, like, they came out all right. Like, they're not the best. Again, I'm shitting on myself either. It's just that feeling of like, I know I can do better. But yeah, so I decided to just draw Vincent, and he's supposed to be like an older gentleman, but I'm drawing in this animated style, and they never turn out the same, like, when I draw these characters, and I guess I never really found my style either of drawing, because they're always different, and but that's okay. Like, I have them in my other sketchbook, and I was looking at them, and every time I see them, I'm like, oh, okay, this is how I'm gonna draw them, and then the way I draw them is completely different to the next time. So it's alright. It's alright, and I never really had a chance to really color them. I mean, I've done some digital art of, let's say, another character named Charlie, but like mostly like face studies. Like, I draw a lot of faces more than I did bodies, which I think that's why I was getting so anxious to draw, is because I was seeing like a lot of people who do character artwork, they do the full bodies, they draw hands, they draw feet, they draw everything, and meanwhile I spent most of my time just drawing people's faces. Like, I did do some pinups, like pinup drawings of digital pinup drawings, but I never finish the paintings. Like, I get to a certain point and I'm like, okay, I'm tired. I spent like maybe a couple of hours just painting, and then it gets to a point where I stop, and then I start a next one. And I guess the same thing would happen with sketchbooks as well, is where I get to a point where I'm just drawing faces and other things, and it ends up just being unfinished. Like, if I look back at some of my older sketchbooks, there are some live model drawings, and some sketches of like faces here and there, and ideas, but never finished ones. So I guess that's another anxiety point for me, is like, oh well, now I have to finish a sketchbook. So you can tell that there's a lot of like things that I just haven't done, and was getting worried about because it's just all new to me. So doing all this was like throwing myself into a pool of like, okay, well now you're gonna draw and you're gonna finish this book. I mean, it's not like I have a time frame either. Like I don't know why I'm so anxious about this whole process, but you're gonna hear me say this a lot. I feel like I've mentioned this like a few times now, Lara. This is just the whole anxiety process when it's supposed to be like fun. which it is fun. It's just going through it, I'm like, oh my god, at every turn. But yeah. Just going through the process is a roller coaster of emotions, you could say. And here I am almost finishing the first drawing of in the cover. I decided to line art, use the watercolor to fill in the gaps. I could have used marker, but I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna wing it and see how it turns out. It turned out okay for a first, well, maybe not a first, but like a first drawing in a watercolor in this book. And I end up using watercolor for the other drawings after too, which again, because I used black, you're gonna see I forgot to clean my brush, so it kind of messes up a process of a little bit, but that's okay. I'm like telling you everything in advance. Well, at least so that way you'll know, I guess, what to expect. Whereas I didn't know what to expect when going into this. I just was like, okay, I'm gonna draw my characters. It's gonna be good. And I said I didn't have a plan, but when I was at work, I ended up drawing on a little like receipt of my characters, and then I had it in my pocket. And I brought it home, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'll just do these guys. That's where I decided to do my characters again from, because I was just drawing them when I was at work. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. But yeah, you'll see. And now I'm just like, going over this little stars here. He looks cute. He looks like a cute little dude. I wasn't sure if I wanted to have him saying anything, but I don't know. I just kind of kept it like that and was like, yay, he's done. I did it. I did the first page. And then this is my receipt paper. I'm deciding to draw another character, Kaylin. So yeah, I'm gonna draw him. And I decided to use, what's it called? Sorry. My god, crayons? Jeez, not crayons. Colored pencils, jeez, sorry. I had a brain fart there. Yeah, so I decided to use the colored pencils. And just kind of, that's the little receipt paper I was talking about, where I did at work, and there's a bunch of like other little faces and doodles, and I ended up doing 2 of these faces, so I ended up doing 2 of these faces, and I'm just like sketching and trying to redo what I drew. Like, I didn't really need a reference, but it felt good to have one where I was, like I said, so lost on what I was gonna do in the sketchbook. So I just decided, like, I know them off the top of my head, but like I said, they always come out a little bit different. Even in my other sketchbook, when I have them, they don't look the same. Even their outfits, like they change a lot. Like, the concept of their outfits are kind of the same, but the way they look the way they come out is a little bit different. I don't know if that makes any sense. So yeah, it's kind of like their jackets are, it's a jacket that he has. It's like this big, kind of like in Naruto, the Akutsuki, I think it's called. I could be wrong, but usually that big kind of jacket style, or like a trench coat style. You can see it here. I kind of messed up because I was using black before, and then I tried to use blue, and I forgot that it was black in the in the brush, so I kind of like messed up my whole little watercolor blue palette, and then it got really dark down here. So I was like, you know what, it's okay, we're just gonna continue on, we're gonna tread along. So that's what I did. I just decided to like make a colored background, so it pops a little bit, and then I ended up painting them all, painting it all in watercolor. I think it would have been better if I had like markers or something, instead of the watercolor, like just to, or use the colored pencils maybe, just so everything would pop a little bit better and I wouldn't have to worry about the water and mixing my brush. Because I think what happens is I go on way too heavy when it comes to using the color, instead of letting it like drain out a little bit first, like more of like a wash. So I think that's why I end up layering everything on a little bit too thick before going on. Same thing with painting too. I was recently doing some gouache, and I realized that it's not like, I didn't know that I can use gouache, like the texture of tea at first, and then eventually build up to making it thicker. I just kind of like slapped everything on and then wondered why my pages are falling apart or I can't mix properly. So it's all a learning experience. But I would like to do some gouache inside this sketchbook here. It's just, again, one step at a time and making sure that I'm not too anxious about doing it. I don't know if I would do that on camera again, just because this process in general was a little bit stressful for me. But I would love to do that though, and just kind of have you guys see what I'm doing. And yeah, I'm just coloring in his eyebrows. I ended up sticking that little receipt inside the book, so there you go. I ended up keeping it. And I wanted to use this like a skin color, and because I'm layering it on too thick already, it becomes like an orange, and his ears are orange, but it's okay. He looks okay. The process ended up being fine. Like you could kind of see like it faded afterwards, so I was able to blend it out a little bit, take from his ear, and kind of go about. But yeah, I'm gonna end up watching, like, I'd say, more tutorials on how to use watercolor and gouache and all that jazz, because again, it's just all mediums I'm not used to. I think when I did my paintings for my other sketchbook, it was acrylic, which I don't know, I felt like that one was a more of a easier process, but just that the paint would kind of, if I would layer it on too much, would kind of eat at the paper. So I don't know if I'd be able to use the sketchbook for doing like gouache and acrylic, just because I layer everything on really, really thick. Or I just need to do some like tests maybe, so it's gonna be a little bit lighter. Kalon doesn't really have orange hair. He usually has like a white, but for this I decided to, like, he has two different styles. Again, like I said, they're never the same, but there's Kalon with orange hair and Kalon with white hair. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna, I can't really exactly paint the white. I could have just left it white, but then, I don't know, well, you wouldn't be able to see it, right? So usually he has this like white silvery hair, but yeah, but that's okay. In my earlier days, I would draw him with orange hair because he had an older sister with orange hair. So yeah, so that's why. yeah, now I'm just going it over with some pen so it pops a little bit more. I'm sure there's another way I could have done this with maybe not with the ink with the pen. Like I feel like maybe it takes away a little bit from the watercolor, but it brings out the line art a little bit more, so that's why I decided to do it. Or maybe it would have been better with like a darker colored pencil. Maybe that would have been better. So here I'm just trying to finish up the last bits of the drawing, and I decided I was gonna start another one after. There he is. Yeah, it's kind of cute. Yeah, his hair is a little wonky, but kind of just looking back and forth between both drawings. And I ended up sticking in the little drawing that I did at work, and then decided to draw another one of my characters, Charlie, on the side. Fun fact, my cat is named Charlie. So yes, I think it's after one of my OC characters. My cat is named after my OC character. But yeah, so I'm just here drawing in the eyes. And I was gonna do kind of like the same thing where I was gonna sketch it really quickly, and then do in some watercolor. So I'm kind of happy I kind of went in, and even though I have the eraser, I kind of just decided to go and not worry about the lines too much, and just kind of roll with it. But with this one too, I had some issues with the watercolor, but I was able to make it like work out in the end. It was more like towards the hair, you're gonna see. I'm like spoiling everything in advance before it happens. I'm sorry. But yeah, I guess just I was excited to talk about it and the process that I went to do it. So yeah, you're gonna see that like once I started doing the watercolor again, I end up coloring in the background, and I ended up using like greens and reds for this character. Charlie, his style has always kind of stayed the same. I mean, like color wise, when it comes to his hair or whatever, and his hair always kind of stayed the same. Where apart from Kaylin, it was the hairstyle would change a lot, and his outfits would change a lot. Whereas Charlie always kind of had like the same look, maybe just here and there, like a shirt change or something like that, but he would pretty much be with the same style. I've seen some artwork where like it's draw the character in different styles, so or different hairstyles, so I thought that would be cool. Maybe I can do that for the next drawing in the sketchbook, take my characters and do them with different hairstyles or different art styles. Maybe find the one that suits me the best. So I feel like it would be a really cool little drawing workout, I guess, or warm up. I think that's what I'm looking for. And yeah, so I just decided to go into this bright red. I was like, oh no, these colors are like super flash, but it started to go down a little bit. Like it doesn't show up on camera, but it looked more like a really rusty color compared to what it shows on the camera, which I'm okay with, I guess. And then the green started to blend in a little bit with the hair, and I was like, just trying to fix it and cover it up a little bit as going on. But again, applying way too thick, but we went with it. And then now I'm just trying to open up for the skin color, my palette for the skin color, and trying to make sure that I have no other colors in it. And again, it became a little bit too orange, but it's okay. It's as I started to brush it out. Oh, and see, yeah, I messed up, and it may have kept making it worse as I tried to smudge it along. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea to use my finger to hopefully remove it, but it just kept making it worse. But I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna go into the neck part, and maybe it'll be a little bit more redder down here, And so I was able to blend it out a little bit. It wasn't too bad, and I was able to fix the little red mark and just try to make it more into his hair, which came out okay in the end. Once I put the line art, it came out a little bit better. And that's pretty much it. I did these two little doodles, and I'm hoping to do more. I don't know if I'm gonna do more of my characters. I'm still missing like one of them, which is Crane, which is like the brother of Vincent and all that jazz. There's a whole backlog. Maybe I'll talk about it sometime. I don't know. It's like this whole spiel. If anyone's interested, you can let me know in the comments, and I'll maybe in another video I'll talk about them a little bit. I don't know, because it's been so long and their stories kind of like got a little bit diluted over time. I used to write a lot about them too, and used to want to make like short stories and all that with them. Those were the days. But yeah. So just kind of putting in the pen work and coloring in I realized at one point too I forgot to give him eyebrows, so he kind of has these like little thin eyebrows. Usually I like to do like thicker eyebrows, as you saw for Kaylin. But yeah, and then, you know, just going around the hair. His hair doesn't really make sense. I'm sure there's a way I could draw it a little bit better that it's not gravity defying hair, but whatever, it is what it is. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this with me, and until the next video, bye bye.